What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Now today I have an unboxing and first impressions on this boot right here, the Adidas F50. Now the Adidas F50 is finally back after 9 years, and it's kind of exciting just because the F50 line was so popular and it was such a good boot in my opinion. Like the 2014 Adi Zero, the 2015 was okay, but the 2014 and the ones before then were such cool boots, very light, and Adidas have finally brought it back. And so today we're just gonna check these out, and this is the box it comes in. This colorway, the purple chameleon colorway, which is basically inspired by the 2010 F50, is a limited edition release. So these kind of sold out pretty much instantly. The laceless ones are kind of still floating around, I believe. I'm not sure if those already sold out too, but this is the lace variation, and this one sold out kind of really quickly. So it comes in this cool box, a limited edition right there, F50 here. Here we see the size tag. And then, yeah, pretty cool box, purple box, pretty nice. I don't think they're gonna come like in this type of box, but it is a drawer style box, and you do get some extras. So here we have the comfort insoles, which if you guys have known, like F50, we're known to provide two type of insoles. So like the lightweight speed insoles, and then like a comfort insole, which is supposed to be a little bit thicker. Usually these don't like have the holes in them, so you get an extra set of insoles, which is nice. And then you also do get the string bag, which is the same string bag that we always get. A mesh string bag, it'll say F50 Adidas logo, and it's in the matching colors. Alright, and then we do get the boots themselves, and then boom, here they are. The F50 is back, and this really cool like changing like purple chameleon colorway that, like I said before, was seen in the 2010 variation, and it was worn by Messi. And yeah, these just look super cool, and the sole plate just looks even crazier. Very nice looking boot in my opinion. I really like this colorway. Alright guys, so here it is, the Adidas F50. Now this boot looks very cool. So yeah, in today's video I'm just going to do my best to talk about the upper, the sole plate stud pattern, the fit. I will be doing a non-feet portion to let you guys know how they fit and feel and the sizing, so stick around for that. Alright, so first we're going to start off with the upper. Now the upper of this boot is called, if you guys can see right there, it's called Fiber Touch, and it is a synthetic, and you guys can see how soft this upper is. This upper is like softer and pliable than the previous like Adidas X, and it doesn't really have like a plasticky feel at all. It does look pretty plasticky just because you guys can see it is kind of shiny, but to the touch it's actually pretty soft and pliable. I'm actually impressed with this upper. Like my initial thoughts, I honestly thought it would be really plasticky like to the hand, just because the way it looks, but it's actually pretty soft, and I'm actually, like I said, I'm actually happy that this upper is soft. It doesn't really feel anything like the previous Adidas X, like the Plus model or the Point 1. This one just feels a lot softer to the hand. Also with the boot, we do get some texture here. You guys can see here these little like lines, and to the touch, you actually do really feel it, and it gives you like a gritty texture. You guys can hear the sound that it makes. It is kind of noticeable, and it kind of reminds me like what you find on the Skechers, the SKX, but not to the same like extreme. Like you only get it here in this like part of the toe box, here on the lip, and then here. So basically where you're going to be dribbling. And when I did try the SKX, I only really felt the texture when you're dribbling, not so much when you're shooting. And so I feel like this is going to be about the same, maybe not to the same like feel as the Skechers SKX, but I feel like this will have some like noticeable grip. Not so much like a sticky grip, but just like a roughness type of grip. I don't know. It's just very noticeable in the hand. So I feel like when dribbling, there will be just a little bit of more grip. So I'm just curious to see if this will actually provide, some grip on the ball, or you just won't feel it at all. But I feel like it'll just provide some, like a little bit of grip, and you'll probably only feel it when you're dribbling. So the upper itself, it is on the thinner side, obviously, but it's not as thin as the previous Adidas X Plus. It's a little bit thicker than that, but it's still like on the thinner side. In the midfoot, it is the same synthetic, and it feels pretty good, nice and soft. It is a bit of a softer upper, but I do feel like compared to the Adidas X Crazy Fast Plus, that it will have a little bit more structure. That boot, I feel like it just lacked a little bit of structure when you like cutting. Like I felt a little bit of like rollover in the upper, but this one probably feels a lot more solid, and especially like with this tongue, just because this tongue here is like a little tunnel. It just hugs your like foot. You guys can see there, it's kind of called a compression fit. And so it does have some stretch to it, but because it does have some fused materials on the inside, on the sides, it doesn't really stretch all that much, and so it's able to kind of keep its shape, and it kind of just hugs your foot. It's not very tight. I feel like if you do have like a wide foot, you might feel it a little bit tight, but if it's just kind of just there hugging your foot, it's like a little bit of a snug fit, but it doesn't really hurt. It doesn't really bother me. Like, yes, you feel like it's hugging your foot, but I feel like that sensation will just go away as you start playing with them, just because it is a pretty thin material, and it does stretch a little, but like I said before, like this fused material, you guys can see that purple shine. It does have some fused like overlays, and so it doesn't stretch all that much, but there is still some stretch to it, if that makes any sense. And so I'm actually happy with this, just because you won't get like a floating tongue, and the tongue's not going to be moving side to side. So I actually don't mind this. And you do get a central lacing system, and it's like a normal lacing system. We'll move on to the heel, and here we have a nice padded suede liner. And the padding, it's a good amount of padding. It's not as bulky as like the previous Adidas X. It's a lot more like slimmed down, I guess, but it looks good. I'm actually like the amount of padding that they do have. It's not a lot. You guys can see here it has some texture, but it's not really that noticeable to the hand. Like, you feel it a little bit, but honestly, I don't think this is going to provide a lot of grip like towards your sock. For the most part, I feel like this padding will just do a good job of locking in your heel so it doesn't like move up and down. And we'll move on to the sole plate. Now here we have a one-piece sole plate with an external heel counter, which I'd really like an external heel counter. It just feels a little bit more sturdy. And then here the sole plate. This sole plate, it is more on the flexible side. Like, there's no longer like a piece here with like a plastic insert, and so it doesn't have that much of a like stiff feel. Like, it does still have some responsiveness, but for the most part it is still on the softer side and more flexible side, in my opinion. So I guess if you really like that responsive feel that you did get from the Adidas X, you won't really be getting that here. It's more a little bit softer and just a little bit more flexible. And then the stud pattern here, it is a little bit different. You do get these like chevron studs, kind of small, but you guys can see it here in these two top studs, which I guess when you're pushing off, it's still gonna grip the ground really well. And then these studs here are more conical, and so you're gonna have just a little bit more rotational movement. And so for the most part, I feel like it's gonna have a good amount of traction. Alright, so now we'll move on to an on feet portion, and I'll talk about the fit and the sizing. Alright guys, here I have the Adidas F50 on feet, and these boots are just very comfortable. Like, straight out of the box, I feel like they're a better fit than the Crazy Fast Point 1, in my opinion. And yeah, I just really like the way these fit. The upper is just a little bit more soft, it's just more pliable, and so they just feel more comfortable on feet. And obviously I feel like they will just get even softer once I do start playing with them. In terms of sizing, they fit true to size, they fit fine, so I would just recommend going true to size. In terms of the fit, they are a slimmer fitting boot, but I feel like people that have a wider foot can still fit in these. Like, I do have like a medium wide foot, and these actually fit me pretty nicely. Like, I don't have any weird spots that kind of hurt me at all. You guys can see here the upper does look a little bit weird, like here in these parts where my foot is the widest, but that's just because that's the way the upper is. It does have a little bit more like structure here, and because obviously my foot is pushing out a little bit more, this is just gonna happen. It doesn't hurt me at all, but obviously it just looks weird. The toe box feels nice, and I feel like the toe box itself isn't like overly narrow. I feel like my toes here have a good amount of space, and they just don't feel like they're being squeezed at all. They're just very comfortable in the toe box. The midfoot, you kind of do feel the compression fit in the beginning, but like once you're like moving around, you don't really notice it all that much. It does kind of feel like it's hugging your foot, but it's not squeezing it at all. It still feels pretty comfortable in my opinion. I will say it is a little bit annoying getting them on, just because when you do slide in your foot, everything kind of just bunches up right here in this part of the boot, and so you have to pull it and make sure you got it straightened out so there's no weird like bumps on it. And even then, you guys can see I do still have some bumps here. But the heel feels really comfortable. It feels like my heel is nice and locked in with that suede padding. Like, it doesn't feel like my heel is coming out at all. It feels nice and locked in. So I'm really happy with the way the heel fits. And overall, I feel like Adidas just nailed the shape of the Adidas F50. It just feels really nice on feet. I don't know how else to explain it. Alright, so now I'll leave you guys with my final thoughts. Alright, so overall, the Adidas F50, it's a really good boot in my opinion. It fits well. It's really comfortable. The upper is a lot softer than the previous model. It's not as plasticky, so I really like that about it. The shape is a little bit better in my opinion. The sole plate, I actually prefer this sole plate just because it's a little bit more flexible. And so for me, I just like a more flexible sole plate, so I actually really like this sole plate. This tunnel here is a little bit annoying to get on, just because you have to like pull it to get everything straight. But even so, I still get some material here bunching up, which is a little bit annoying, but I feel like once I do start playing with them, I won't really feel it. But yeah, these boots, I'm really excited to get these to the field and try them out. Obviously, I will be doing a play test, and I'll put that out as soon as I can. So that's it for today's video. If you guys did enjoy, make sure to leave a like. Make sure to subscribe and hit the bell notification so you're notified for the playtest of this boot. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.